Lumos Maxima. Lumos Maxima. Lumos Maxima. Hello everyone, how are you doing? I hope that you are doing so very well. Today I'm here to talk to you about my favorite book to movie adaptations. I love book to movie adaptations. There's very few that I don't like because I can separate the book from the movie and the different forms of entertainment. Unless the movie's really bad, then it's like, ugh, so sad, so sad. I put a few limitations on this, or my favorites list would just be endless. I have to have read the book and seen the movie for it to make it on this favorite book to movie adaptations list. So things like The Notebook and The Devil Wears Prada, though I absolutely love those movies, I have not read the books, so I'm not going to put them on this list. You feel me? Okay. I also only picked one movie from the series that was like my most favorite. These are also in no particular order. These are just my favorites, and I just want to talk about all my favorites. So without further ado, let's get started. First up, we've got The Maze Runner. I really enjoy the Maze Runner movies, probably mostly because I hated the books. I was bored, I was annoyed, but the movies are super different from the books, and I'm really loving them so far. Out of The Maze Runner and The Scorch Trials, The Maze Runner is still my favorite, but I'm loving the changes they made in The Scorch Trials. It makes a little bit more sense to me in my brain than what actually happened in the books. The Maze Runner, so good, definitely better than the book for me. Next up is Gone Girl, and though I would say this is one of my favorite book to movie adaptations because it was very well done and very true to the book, I don't know that I'll ever watch it again. It's just very disturbing and very dark. I don't know that my little brain and my little heart can handle it, but it was a really great adaptation and probably one of my favorite adaptations that I've ever seen. If you've read the book and you haven't seen the movie, who are you? Next up is Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban. This is one of those where I really love all of the Harry Potter movies. They're all my favorites. But I think my most favorite out of the Harry Potter movies is Prisoner of Azkaban. Everything is beautiful and I love it. It also has my favorite opening of any Harry Potter movie ever. All around, so great. Just everything is great. All of the greatness. Prisoner of Azkaban, yes! Next up is Divergent. I really liked the Divergent movie. Everything was great. It was like indie film and it had great music in it and it went with the feel of the book. Even though it was kind of different from the book, the whole feel of everything was just like the book. And the Dauntless Compound was pretty much exactly like I imagined it, and I was like, oh my gosh, so good, I love it. Insurgent, however, is a different story. I hated Insurgent a lot, but Divergent was great. Next up is the Vampire Academy movie, which is so cheesy and not really great acting, but I loved it all the same. I love the girl that played Rose. I just loved seeing that world come to life, and it was just so great. I know people hate it, and I know people rag on it for being super cheesy and super ridiculous, but I love it, and I will keep loving it. Okay? Okay. Next up, we've got Jane Austen books. That's what this category is for me, and it's kind of tied between Pride and Prejudice, the newest one with Keira Knightley, and Sense and Sensibility. I love both of those movies equally. For cinematography reasons, Pride and Prejudice gets bumped up a little bit higher, but the story of Sense and Sensibility is so great, and I love it. I love that movie so much. Pride and Prejudice is very beautifully shot and very beautifully done. I just can't not love Jane Austen movies. I love the books, I love the movies, I love it all. Everything is so great. Next up, we've got The Desolation of Smaug, which is one of the Hobbit movies. I would have put Lord of the Rings on here because those movies are way better in my opinion, but I've never read the books, so it didn't meet my criteria for this list, but I really love the Lord of the Rings movies. Wanted to mention them because they're great. But The Desolation of Smaug is probably my favorite of the 3 Hobbit movies. That barrel scene, am I right? Am I right? That whole world is just phenomenal, and it coming to screen is also phenomenal. Did The Hobbit need to be 3 movies? Probably not. It's all good. It's all good. Next up, I've got The Great Gatsby. I really love The Great Gatsby movie, the newest one with Leonardo DiCaprio. It's beautiful and the soundtrack is amazing and it's just so great. Yes, good classics movies. Bring them all to me. Love it a lot. And I really like The Great Gatsby book too, so win-win. Next up is The Perks of Being a Wallflower. I read this book right before I saw the movie, so I was prepared and I really loved it. I thought all the main actors did a really great job with their portrayal of the characters. Logan Lerman especially did a really great job capturing Charlie. Spot on Charlie. Emma Watson was also great, but Logan Lerman is Charlie, guys. So good. Would highly recommend the movie and the book. So good. Next is The Martian. Martian, which was such a good book to movie adaptation. I had heard good things about the movie going in because I saw it a little bit later than everybody else, and I was not disappointed. I really enjoyed Matt Damon as Mark Watney. He was really great for that role and he portrayed it so well. They did leave some things out, which you have to do in movies, but I think there was one major thing towards the end that I was like, oh, I wish you could have kept that in, but I understand why you didn't, but I wish you could have because it would have been really great. The whole thing really translated well to screen. Just his humor came across so well from the book to the movie, which was the main thing that I was worried about. They did it beautifully. It was a great movie. Last but not least, I've got Catching Fire, which is the second movie in the Hunger Games series. Catching Fire is my all-time favorite book to movie adaptation. Highest, top, best, amazing. I remember watching it and I hadn't reread the book recently because I kind of like wait to reread the book until after I've seen the movie, and I was watching it and I was like, this is exactly like the book. Almost word for word like the book, and I was like, oh my gosh. Then we got to the end and I was like, what? And then I reread the book and I was reading these passages and I was like, the movie was word for word, and I was just freaking out like, oh my gosh, it's so good. And it's such a great book to movie adaptation. I had one issue with like one scene that they didn't put in, then found out later they actually filmed the scene but was like, oh, that makes things really obvious. So it was like, okay, you were doing all the things right. And overall, all the Hunger Games movies I am very, very happy with. They are fantastic movies and really proof that franchise will last for a long time, and especially with those movies and those books, just everything will last for a very long time. Like Harry Potter, Hunger Games will be around and is gonna stay around. Catching Fire is so good. And those are my favorite book to movie adaptations. I know I probably left a few off that you're like, why? There may be some that I really, really liked, but they're just not my favorites. Let me know down below what your favorite book to movie adaptation is, or what your least favorite book to movie adaptation is. I'll tell you right now, mine is Aragon, because it's the worst. Thank you so much for watching this video, and I'll see you next time. Bye. Especially, what's his face? I can't remember his name. It's Mark Watney. I really enjoyed Matt Damon. It's cold. Okay, bye.